Hello, and welcome back to another edition of the Leo G, Derico, and Banks podcast. That's what's up, man. We are back. We are now live. If you're tuned in with us on YouTube, if you tune in with us on Facebook, we are doing this thing live. Got a brand new platform for y'all, man. So we hope you enjoy the show. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a lot to discuss. And we're going to just kick this thing on off, man. So I'm going to go over here first to my man down south that holds this down. If you're no stranger to this podcast, this dude does it big, and he is not short on his opinions and how he feels about his Atlanta sports teams. Give it up to my man Banks over there. My man Banks, man, what's going on with you, brother? Can you hear me? Everything okay? Take yourself off mute, man, and let's rock it. All right, so Banks is having some technical difficulties right now, man. We'll have to bring him back into the loop here in just a second. But I still got my man Derico over here, over there out there on the east. What's going on, Derico?
Hey, what's going on, Leo G? I mean, it's already on started over here with this technical difficulties. I think we got our man back. You back, Banks?
Yeah, I guess so, man. I don't know what's going on, man. This thing is giving me fits. So I have no idea why it keeps kicking me out, and then it gets real big, and I can't unmute myself, so I'm gonna have to leave myself open.
Okay, well, listen, hey,
you're gonna leave yourself open.
You gonna leave yourself? Hey, man, don't start. Hey, listen, hey, it's all good, man. Listen. We're gonna have fun with it. This is a brand new platform that we come to you guys with, man. Like I said, doing something different, doing something live. We are streaming live on Facebook. We are streaming live on YouTube. So we hope everybody enjoys this, man. And we just gonna give it to you raw. We're gonna give it to you real. This is another rebranding of the show. Banks, why are you wagging your finger?
Because you need to give me my introduction back so I can do it right. That's what you need to do.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something about. I thought you were gonna say something about what he just said.
No,
but listen, give me. Okay. Here we go. Listen, so starting it back up. I got to give it over to my man, holding it down on the south side, man, as always, man, who's always big on Atlanta sports, always got big thoughts, big dreams, big opinions on Atlanta sports, man. My man on the south side, Banks, tell everybody what's up, man.
What is going on, Leo G? How you feeling, Derico? How y'all doing out there, man? That's much better. I feel loved again. Appreciate it.
Man, listen, I appreciate you, Banks, for coming on, man, and doing the thing real big, man. That's what's up. And then I'm gonna pass it over to my man Derico, man, so we can kick this show off. Derico over there holding it down on the east side, man. He's been holding it down for quite some time for the show, man. What's up, Derico? What's up today?
Man, what's up, Leo? What's up, Banks? It's Friday, man. I didn't get paid, so it's just another Friday for me. You know what I'm saying?
That man said he didn't get paid.
Off. You know what I'm saying?
So listen, man, like I said, we doing this thing live. We doing it live, man, something different, man. Hopefully we'll get this thing out. But I want to shout out my boy DeMario, man, is checking in with us already, man. Hey, what's up, DeMario, man? Thank you for tuning in to the show live. We definitely appreciate it, man. We got a new platform, and you can definitely interact with us, man. Ask us questions as we do this show and as we move along, man. So we definitely appreciate all the love as we do this thing live. So, fellas, y'all know we not no strangers to this thing, man. Let's do a fit check and drink check real quick, and I'm going to pass it over to you first, Banks, over there, man. So give me your fit check and your drink check before we kick this thing off right on the Friday night.
Man, I'm just doing it simple today, fellas, man. Rocking the Barkowski jersey. Y'all see it. Throwback, as usual, one of my dear to my hearts. I love my throwback, especially the rocking the ATL red and white back when they were wearing the silver breeches. So I'm coming out with the AU today, baby. Golden, because I'm feeling golden today. The AU vodka. So you can see it on my tongue.
AU vodka. There it is. Damn it. It turned your lip. It turned your tongue. Oh, okay.
Boy,
okay.
Y'all on something today,
boy. You on one today.
Hey, that sun must be pretty good out there. It's like 80-something degrees, and y'all act like it.
And I know, look, hey, we'll talk about something else in a minute that got us all jacked up. It could be some medication, but look, Derico, kicking it out to you, man. Before we get this thing started off right, man, let everybody know what you got going on, man. Fit check, drink check. Let everybody know what you got going on. And I got to get right. I didn't even get right. And Derico done muted himself.
I'm rocking the old school like Banks. But I got on that classic number 7. Not the Robinson, but the VICK MV7.
Okay.
All black.
Okay.
All black Banks. I like it all black.
Like the Omen.
Yeah. And I got this old trash bourbon. It's Heaven Hill, boy. They got me. I said I don't get got too much, but they got me this time, dog. Hey, this gonna definitely be a what you call them things? Old fashions.
You gonna a mixer. You gonna mix with the old fashioned. You gonna do the old fashioned.
Either that or somebody gonna come over here and say, "Oh, I like that."
We gonna, hey man, listen, hey, somebody gonna drink it. You know how we
somebody
do.
Will.
Somebody will drink it.
You know, I always got to have a cold one, so I got the red stripes. So I'm feeling irie.
That's what's
you
up,
did
man.
Not say you pulled out the red stripe. Oh my gosh, bro.
He had to do what he had to do. He had to do what he had to do. So listen, before I get my fit check in and my drink check in, man, I got to shout out another person that's following us and watching us live on YouTube. My man James. What's going on, James, man? Shout out to my man James. Rise up, man. You know how it is, man. I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate you coming on and watching us live as we do it on YouTube and as we also do it on Facebook, man. So James, don't be shy, man. If you got some questions, if you want to interact with the show, man, hit us up and let us know and follow along as we do this thing, man. So listen, the fit check for me today is a little weird because I've been ripping and running. I've been doing some things today, man. So if you hadn't heard of the Savannah Bananas, I'll show you my shirt, man. The Savannah Bananas, the greatest show in sports entertainment, man. Google them. Savannah Bananas, man. It's almost like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, man. They are a very fun and entertaining team. Shout out to them. But I'm a little upset I didn't get tickets. They coming up to Gwinnett, and I didn't get tickets, fellas, to the lottery. I didn't, man. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But lucky for us, it's just a short, I don't know, 4 hour ride down the road to Savannah to check them out. But definitely, if like I said, if you hadn't seen them, Google them. Very entertaining bunch down in Savannah, man. They do it big, and I'm a huge fan just from the YouTube videos, fellas. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check them out before we move forward. Banks, if you got a chance to check out the Savannah Bananas on YouTube or in person, for that matter.
I checked them out on YouTube. It's interesting to say the least, Leo. I thought it was a joke when I first saw it. I said, is this really a baseball game or this is scripted? What are we doing here? And now they start popping out the hula dances and stuff like that. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, why we doing a Macarena on the mound? I mean, I'm lost.
Entertainment, man. Like I said, I guess they build themselves as the best thing in sports entertainment. I kind of dubbed them the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, man. You know, I think it's pretty cool, man. And like I said, I definitely want to check them out. I was not able to get the tickets when they come up here to Gwinnett, but like I said, I might make the ride down to Savannah to check them out. Derico, have you got a chance to check them out, or
no,
you know, at least online or in person?
No, but I'm kicking myself in the butt because I had an opportunity to get some tickets from my alumni at Valdosta State. I waited. I said, let me check with something. By the time I came back and checked, tickets were gone.
Wow.
So,
man,
that was an opportunity. so I'm just mad.
So listen, fellas, this might be a trip for all of us, man, to either, you know, go down and check them out in person down in Savannah, you know, or see what we could do if they start to, you know, do the touring thing, man, just to check them out, man, because we all sports fans. We like to
be sold out.
Hey, man, hey, listen, you know, Derico, you find the way. I call Derico one of your nicknames is Mr. Find the Way, so it ain't never stopped you before.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Let's figure this out. I know Banks on board. He game for it. We done did a lot of events together, man. So we'll figure out how to do this, man, and check out the Savannah Banana. So look, anyway, man, like I said, that's part of the fit. The drink I want to kind of feature here, man, since we do feature drinks if you into that type of thing. But I did pick up some. I don't know if you guys can see it here. It's some New Riff single barrel. Just got that bourbon that started dropping down here in Georgia. I had not cracked the seal on it yet, but I will here in just a minute. I'm sipping on some regular today, a little old elk. Just having fun, man. Getting loose. It's Friday. What's up, Derico?
What's new that you ain't cracked some?
Hey, man, listen. You want to come down here and help me out? We can do it. You know what I'm saying? I only got one liver, man. I'm trying to save it. I need some help, man. So whenever y'all get a chance and an opportunity, man, ain't nothing but space and opportunity, man. Come on down, man, and we'll get this thing cracking, man. Literally get this thing cracking with some of the stuff that I hadn't opened yet, man, and do a tasting and let everybody know what's up, man. So once again, shout out to everybody that's checking us out live via Facebook or on YouTube, man. So let's get into the show. Got a couple of things we want to talk about tonight, fellas, man, and we're just gonna let this thing loose. First thing is first, Derico. This is a discussion that we've had quite a bit. So we definitely want to put this out here and want to talk about it. NCAA March Madness is just passed as we just crossed over in the April here, man. We just had the women's and men's NCAA tournament. But this is a weird thing. Banks, I want to talk to you a little bit here first, and then we'll kick it over here to Derico. The NCAA March Madness thing used to be really, really big for the men's side. But now it looks like the men have taken a back seat to the women. And that's what we want to discuss tonight. Banks, have you noticed that the men have now NCAA taken a back seat to the women?
I haven't noticed. Leo, I've been all on the men's side, NCAA Final Four, Sweet 16. I've been diving all into it, and I will be the first to admit, and I apologize to all the women basketball fans out there. I just started keeping up with women's basketball after the South Carolina Gamecocks won a championship. So I've been all over the men's side. So I've been under a rock, fellas. Maybe I'm kind of, creeping in through the back door, trying to figure out what's the big hype about.
Okay, no doubt. No doubt, man. Like I said, so I've been a big sports fan. We all are big sports fans, man. But I think that for me, it's kind of clear, man, that the women, at least from a college perspective, have now outshined. I can't name not one NCAA basketball player, and I don't know if it's just from a perspective that the men now they go to the league too quickly. I don't know what's going on with men's NCAA basketball, man. But I can't name one player when it comes to NCAA basketball. It used to be like you can rattle off quite a few. You knew who the coaches were, and now it's no. But the women have now, the game has changed, and the women have now kind of, I think, in my opinion, come to the forefront when you talk about collegiate basketball. Derico, now I kick it over to you. Women's collegiate basketball, in my opinion, has now taken over and moved in front of men's collegiate basketball. Would you agree or disagree, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, I would agree, and there's a good reason why. It's because you always got, I ain't gonna say always, when you have a villain and a hero, you have a storyline. And I think that's what happened to college basketball. The women had a hero and a villain, and it worked for college basketball for the women. I don't think no one on the men's side is capable right now of bringing that type of energy because it probably wouldn't be genuine. But this energy between these two players, that energy is real, and I think that will started a lot of folks' interest in women's college basketball.
And I think the villain and the hero that we're talking about, let's not beat around the bush. Let's talk about it. Let's just get into it. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Angel Reese, who of course obviously just played for LSU. Caitlin Clark, who was an Iowa Hawkeye. They kind of led this narrative that you're talking about, Derico, and like they did a very, very, very good job of pushing this narrative in the media, and it got a lot of people interested into the women's college basketball. And not only that, but Caitlin Clark did something kind of big too, from that perspective on the women's sports tip. But Derico, do you think that was done on purpose to kind of, like you said, just this whole narrative of the hero and the antagonist? to get a lot of people interested? Or do you think it was just organic? Do you think both of these players had the personality to where it just played out like that?
It was absolutely organic. I don't see anything that transpired that made me feel like this was something that was either planned or staged or marketed. None of that. It was just organic on the floor. That was just good, what you call old Larry Bird, Magic Johnson type banter on the floor. And I just feel like that's just what it was. And it grew from that. You know what I'm saying? As far as the ease of it being so genuine. And then once social media got a hold of it, oh, it was a wrap after that.
I got you. Shout out to our girl DJ Aero, man. She came in. I didn't want to say it, but DJ Aero, she went ahead and stated the obvious. It kind of was the great white hope when you started talking about Caitlin Clark in the Iowa Hawkeyes and what she was able to do and what she was able to accomplish. So that kind of fitted the narrative a little bit with, I guess with race. I don't know. I don't like to really talk about these things, but they are prevalent in sports. Shout out our girl DJ Aero for holding us down, man, and just bringing up what we all were thinking. Banks, I'm gonna kick it over to you as we talk about this narrative in women's college basketball. Caitlin Clark, being that she is Caucasian, was a big storyline. Do you think that had a lot to do with how this whole story kind of played out over the last couple of years with women's basketball?
Of course, it has. They need a face for the WNBA coming up. What better way to? I'm not saying, get into this, deep dive in this race issue. That white is right, whatever. But I mean, if you're gonna have a face, then why not get the wholesome chick from Iowa that's going to probably be the next Susan. I forget her first name. Was it Susan Bird from Seattle from WNBA? There you go. I mean, and they gonna take off with that.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, you got to get storylines. Sports are all about storylines, right? We like the competitiveness of them, but you know what I'm saying? We love a good storyline, man. Obviously, that's just human nature. We like to see storylines, and this is something that we haven't seen in quite some time. I mean, I remember, Cheryl Miller when she was playing at USC years ago, but just never was a big focal point or big focus on women's collegiate basketball. And now that we have the WNBA, for that matter, just trying to bump up and make it bigger marketing for the WNBA as well. And my man DeMario, shout out to my man DeMario. We're going to get into it in just a second. The biggest storyline is SC and Dawn Staley and what they did. And that is something pretty big. And that's what we're going to kick it to here in just a minute and talk about what Dawn Staley was able to accomplish with South Carolina going undefeated and winning the championship and beating the Iowa Hawkeyes to do so. So shout out to my man DeMario for bringing that up. So listen, fellas, the NCAA Women's Championship, undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks, Derico. I got a chance to watch the game, man, and I was very entertained about that, man. And shout out to Dawn Staley and what they were able to do up there in South Carolina. They had a lot of big names, and they pushed, man. They've been a competitive squad, man. Obviously, they've gone through some adversity with their program last year with what happened, and then this year being able to go undefeated and win it tenfold, man. Derico, how do you feel about what they were able to accomplish up there in South Carolina with Dawn Staley, who is a basketball legend? I'm not gonna limit it to gender. Dawn Staley is a basketball legend in my opinion and what she's done for the sport, man. But how do you feel about what South Carolina has done?
I don't know. Just unless it was just me, you went out, so I don't know what you said.
Okay, we're gonna keep it rolling. I was just talking about Banks. Are you still with me? Can you still hear what I got going on?
Yeah, I do. I got you.
Okay, we'll keep it rolling here. I don't know if Derico's having some technical difficulties, but Banks, I know you just heard what I said about Dawn Staley and what she was able to accomplish with South Carolina. How do you feel about their program and what she was able to do and how they were able to go undefeated and win a national title?
The thing is, we're not talking about is that South Carolina supposedly after they went undefeated before, I think they had all they starters graduate, if I'm not mistaken. This is supposed to have been like a rebuild, so somewhat a rebuild, and yet they went undefeated again and won the Natty. I think I heard someone tell me that she's the new Gino from the old coach from UConn. And if you recall, when she played basketball, that was her nemesis is playing UConn, and she couldn't get by them. So now she's the one on top of that pedestal now, and now kudos to her, man. I mean, look, you see all the talk is about Caitlin and what she's doing, going to the NBA. With the real talk is it's been swept under the rug, and it's all about what Don Staley has done with South Carolina Gamecocks and going undefeated and win the championship. End the story.
Yeah, that is the biggest story, man. Like I said, shout out to my man DeMario, what they were able to accomplish in South Carolina and what they were able to do. Derico, I think you're back. We were just talking about what Don Staley, a true basketball legend in this country, has been able to do with South Carolina and how they were able to go undefeated and win the title. With a bunch of adversity, man. I don't know if you want to, speak a little bit on how you feel about what they were able to accomplish up there in South Carolina.
Well, excuse me. You go 109-3 over the last 3 seasons, 2 national championships. That's all I can tell you about Dawn Staley as about her program. And as Bank said, when you lose 5 starters, I'm talking about 5, not 1, not 2, 5 starters, and you still go undefeated and raise that trophy at the end of that term. So yeah, she is on that pedestal right now, and at this point, it's going to be hard for somebody to knock it down because you can see that she reloads. And the thing I like about this year, she found out. Well, I ain't say she found out. She saw it firsthand last year when they got put out the tournament by the same team they just beat. That they didn't have any shooters, so she went and got 2 shooters. 2 shooters. So you won't be out there waving your hand talking about don't worry about her because she can't shoot. No, they had 2 shooters out there that was out there killing them, which is Tessa Johnson was one of them, and Pow Pow out there on that arc killing them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
man.
Give Dawn Staley her props and her flowers. And as somebody said, LeBron James said, protect her at all costs.
Absolutely, man. When you start talking about women's basketball, especially NCAA, man, I think she's now kind of ascending to that level of, I think the biggest name when you start talking about women's basketball, like Pat Summitt is one of the biggest names, in collegiate basketball when it comes to not just women's basketball, but just collegiate basketball in general, man. Pat Summitt really, when she was at Tennessee, like just took that whole program to another level. If I'm not mistaken, somebody could kind of fact check this as we go along, but I think the coach for Stanford, she just retired. She was another coach that kind of, ascended and was at the top. And Banks, I know you spoke about UConn as well, the coach over at UConn that had a great and phenomenal program over there. But I think we're just now starting to see what Don Staley will be able to do with the program up there in South Carolina. And I look to see them be very, very successful here for years to come. So, like I said, once again, I want to give our flowers to Don Staley and what she's been able to accomplish up there in South Carolina. And hopefully we'll see her do big things here with that program here as we move forward and just continue to watch, women's NCAA basketball, just, move on up, man. I love to see it. I really, really love to see it. I don't even know who won the men's NCAA. I don't know. Do y'all know who won the men?
UConn went back to back.
Well, UConn went back to back. Shout out to UConn for men for going back to back, man. But like I said, it's all about the women and seeing what they're able to do and how they're able to kind of start pushing their sport up and doing the things they need to do to get their due. So listen, we saw a lot of great players in that championship game move over now into going into professional women's sports basketball and in particular WNBA. The WNBA, man, has been moving right along. We just had the draft that came up here not too long ago, and I know we just briefly spoke on the number 1 pick for the WNBA draft, Caitlin Clark. She's not an all-time leading NCAA scorer. She did a lot for the sport. Like I said, her team faced off against Don Staley's USC Gamecocks in the national title. And, she earned the right to be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft. Banks, I'm going to kick it over to you, man. how has Caitlin Clark just changed the landscape? I mean, there have been countless other players, right, that we'll talk about here in just a minute. They have done a lot for the NCAA for women's basketball, period. But how has Caitlin Clark just changed the landscape of women's basketball, and then her going number one overall? How are we now looking at women's basketball moving forward and what she was able to accomplish?
I mean, the face of it all. I mean, we just already touched on the fact that the WNBA needs this boost of someone to market around. Listen, Caitlin's shot is cold, y'all. I mean, you can't take nothing away from the lady. She has a wet jumper. Okay, that mean that thing is smooth, no rim, all net. I mean, and she's smooth with it, and she do it so effortlessly. She go out there and she drop what 30 some points maybe, and it's like that's just a normal regular day. I mean, this is a college student, fellas. I mean, this is a woman who's perfected her craft and her jumpers, and not just jumpers either. She's hitting half court shots like Trey Young out there.
I mean, she definitely, man. I was definitely intrigued when I heard her name and what she was able to accomplish out there in Iowa, man. And she got game. She has phenomenal game. I cannot lie. That's why she was the number one pick in the WNBA draft. Derico, I'm gonna kick it over to you, man. How transformative has her game been, man? And what has she done to elevate this sport from a perspective, not only just collegiately, but now going into the WNBA?
Okay, I'll take your word. Elevate. I won't say transform. That's a little bit much. I mean, she got a long way to go before I can say transformation because there's so many other greats before her. So I don't want to, knock anybody that came before her just because she's at the spotlight right now. But like Bank said and you said, the jumper is nice. Yes, she has a nice jumper and range. So that probably is what elevated her into the limelight, seeing that she can shoot, like Bank said, from half court. I mean, folks like to see people take long shots like Steph. I'm gonna say Steph. You said Trey. I'm gonna say Steph, like Steph. You know what I'm saying? Going out there and shooting that thing from the logo, which is eye opening and entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Eye opening and entertaining. So I can take that from her. As far as what's gonna happen in the WNBA, I don't know. I really don't. Because all I can tell you is there's been a lot of chatter about when she get to the WNBA, some of those things that she's been doing probably gonna get caught up with. You know what I'm saying? Just think about when she was playing in the national championship game when Raven Johnson got a hold of her in the second quarter. She put them everlasting clamps on her.
The clamp sign. She put them clamps on.
She put them clamps on her. Yeah, Banks. She scored 30, but she scored 18 of them 30 in the first quarter. And then when Raven Johnson got on her, put them handcuffs on her. So that's what I'm saying.
Westlake High School. Shout out, yes. shout out South Fulton, ATL.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to Raven Johnson from the West Lake.
Man, listen, man. Shout out to Fanatic Sports over there network saying that her popularity, love it or hate it, will elevate the WNBA, man. Like, for real, that is a great statement because we did, since the WNBA has been in existence, I don't think we've seen anyone personality wise that is going to bring, this amount of just coverage, to the WNBA and what she's done. And we've already talked about her game and what she brings, but she brings storylines, man. So I mean, I'm intrigued with Caitlin Clark, and we've already discussed it, fellas, man. We have a WNBA team right here in this city, the Dream. Shout out to Dream, who plays right over there at College Park. So listen, I don't know what the ticket sales are gonna be when Indiana comes here to play the Atlanta Dream, but listen, I'm there. I'm there. I think I'm intrigued enough, and I think that there have already been cities that have moved because we know that the WNBA teams play in kind of smaller arenas. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the Washington Mystics said that they were moving to their NBA counterparts arena when Caitlin Clark and the Indiana team come to town just to hold everybody. Banks.
And so is Las Vegas Aces. They're moving to T-Mobile Arena to host that game. And for that said, why Atlanta Dream can't have nice things, man? I'm just gonna say it. I'm jealous.
What they
I'm
do?
jealous of. I wanted someone like Caitlyn, bro. I
What you was
want
gonna
the
do?
dream.
We
I
done had a
mean,
number
You
one
didn't
pick,
create somebody?
Banks.
You thought you was gonna
listen,
create
why
somebody?
not? When the dream is not doing so well, we don't get a player like that coming out in the top three draft picks. But all of a sudden, Dream gets a little, little traction, and here comes these two phenomenal players out the draft, and we just sitting there looking at them like, oh, wish he was playing at College Park. Because can you? I mean, just sit back and just dream a little bit. If she played for the Dream right now, they won't even play in College Park anymore. It will be forever in State Farm Arena. Straight up, straight up. Can
Hey
you
man.
not agree with me with that? Straight up.
I agree. I agree with you, man. She, like I said, shout out to my man Demario as well. Like I said, she's definitely put the game on notice, and she's brought a lot of eyes to the women's side, man. Yeah, she would do big things. We knew wherever she went that she was going to do big things and bring a lot of attention and a lot of people to watch the sport. I'm definitely intrigued by her, and like I said, fellas, we'll have a talk about when Indiana comes to town, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna make that happen. But I definitely want to go check this out, and we'll see if Atlanta, follows the trend of all the rest of these cities and take it to a big arena. Derico.
I'm not gonna let y'all do this. I'm not gonna let y'all do this. Ain't no way y'all gonna sit here and just talk about Indiana and not talk about Chicago. There is no way.
Hey,
There's no way that we're gonna let that happen.
So listen, we were gonna get.
So if you're gonna talk about them, we're gonna talk about Chicago because they got them twin monsters over there.
They got the twin monsters over there. They did. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Camila Cardoso.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, she's going over there to Chicago. And also, man, listen, a player that has really, really intrigued me, and we want to talk about the villain or who's been villainized. We want to talk about Angel Reese and LSU. Yes, they have stacked themselves up, and I'm intrigued to see that duo and that matchup. Let me tell you something, man. Like, I got very, very excited watching Angel Reese go at it with Caitlin Clark at LSU. And obviously, this is going to make for a good storyline now here in the WNBA. So I definitely want to see Angel Reese. Angel Reese has brought something to the WNBA that I don't think we've seen. She's a great person, man. She has the personality to really, really bring the WNBA along as well with Caitlin Clark. That kind of counter personality to do so. So I'm intrigued with this, man. And like I said, I had to, once I watched the championship game with South Carolina, Camila Cardozo. If you don't know anything about her, man, she was the number 5 for them. Very, very good center. Her story is very intriguing. Came from Brazil. If you don't know anything about her, I would say Google her. But she's gonna be an up and coming player in the WNBA as well, man. So I'm intrigued with both of them, man. So this is gonna be exciting to see. This was probably we're at the precipice. We're at the start of seeing a new kind of takeoff for the WNBA and the personalities that's coming in. Banks, go ahead, man, and go ahead, Banks.
And let me retract my statement, just in case these two ladies that is watching this show, Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray from Atlanta Dream, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I would run with the Dream if you have Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever coming to Dream College Park State Court. I will be there, and I will support you guys. I'm so sorry for even drooling and wishing for something like that. Ryan Howard, you are the one for the Atlanta Dream. And let me go ahead and say, Alicia Gray, you too. And you know what, Leo, I can't believe you just sat there and let me just clown and clown myself over a person or people that's not Atlanta.
Boy, you
This
must
is
got a
Atlanta
nasty
show.
gram.
This is Atlanta show.
What?
Boy, you must
What?
got a nasty
You know
gram.
what?
Hey,
You
she
know what?
wants that text. She wants that text. Yeah.
That's not like me. That's not like me. Game recognize game. I recognize good game, and those two girls can hoop. But
Absolutely, man.
after
Absolutely.
all that said, it's Ryan Howard, bro. That's what we need to be worried about. Alicia Gray, that's what we need to be worried about. They the face of our franchise. So
Hey.
if you guys are somehow watching this show, I apologize. I'm so sorry. And that's coming from
Listen.
Banks. I don't care what Leo and Derico got going on over there. I'm apologizing to you ladies.
Hey, listen, man. Banks, hey, I'm glad you were able to go back and do your due diligence and kind of, do what you needed to do. But listen, I think like I said, we're at a time where we can watch the WNBA and be excited about seeing the talent that is coming in, and just hey, as a sports fan, and as we all are, being able to see something new and something fresh, and we're gonna see this through, and we'll be able to talk about this throughout the year, because I think that we'll all get over to right over there to College Park, or if they put it down at State Farm, we'll get down there and we'll check it out, man. So that's definitely something that we need to do. So listen, I want to kind of move on before we go on to our next subject, something that we definitely want to talk about, that has been a big topic now that the WNBA and women's collegiate basketball has been getting a lot of spotlight. Derico brought this to my attention, and I had been thinking the same thing that he had, but we definitely want to touch on this before we move forward about the WNBA and how the players get paid over there. Obviously, first thing I want to talk about is Caitlin Clark was the number one player in the WNBA draft, right? But before we talk about how they get paid and what their agreement is with their union over there, Caitlin Clark was offered a lot of money by another league. She was offered, I want to say, $5 million by the Big Three, who is run by Ice Cube. And she turned it down. She turned it down in order to say, hey, you know what? I want to go over to the WNBA and I want to kind of elevate that league over there. So before we start talking about pay equity with the WNBA and the NBA, how do you feel about what Caitlin Clark did in turning that deal down that Ice Cube put on the table for $5 million for her to come play over at the Big Three with his league?
I mean, I would agree with her. I'm like, you're not about to trick me out like that. I mean, that's basically what you'd have been doing, tricking me out for the money. It wouldn't have been nothing that would have been encouraging women's sports at all. I mean, that would have just took away from that. Period. Yeah, she would have got that $5 million. Ice Cube probably would have had traveling through this country with big arenas, more ticket sales, but it would have did absolutely nothing for the game of basketball for women. So I'm glad she turned it down.
Hey, she understands the importance of where she is right now. Her new career going into the WNBA and what she's gonna do, like we just discussed, for the sport. So yeah, I mean, the $5 million that she would have got with the Big Three. I mean, and I don't know. I didn't really look in to see if that would kind of interfere with how that would have worked with her in the WNBA. I'm assuming that it wouldn't have worked, and that's why she decided to go with the WNBA and kind of promote that league and be a little bigger with that. But she made a decision, and obviously we'll talk about the financial aspects of what she'll get paid in the WNBA as the number one pick, but she's already got endorsement deals. She's probably got a lot of things lined up. So, like, from a financial perspective, man, that's probably something that wasn't even like that $5 million is probably a drop in the bucket of what she stands to gain with all the other endorsement deals that she's probably going to get alongside with her salary. Banks, I'm gonna kick it over to you. How do you feel about her turning down that $5 million from the Big Three that Ice Cube offered?
I think it was also I'm not gonna say a publicity stunt, but I want to say it was a show to kind of like put an exclamation point on the fact that her being the face, doing a good thing, and sticking and staying loyal. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Staying loyal to the cause of going professional and being a professional. You know, I kind of agree with her. I mean, I think all money ain't good money. You know, just just keeping it a buck. I mean, it ain't just just chasing the money. Then it's whatever after that. But I feel like what she's doing, I think it was a good cause of staying focused on what she's trying to do going forward, long term, not just short term, because that's short term money, long term, and I think that's gonna pay off for her.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So she's thinking long game. I agree with you, Banks. Shout out to my man, Coach I over there at Fan Addict Sports Network as well, man. Yeah, it's long term, man, and going over to the big three, it would have kind of hindered her endorsement deals, I think. So now she can kind of just settle in, focus on playing in the WNBA and doing a thing. Shout out to my man Majid, man, for checking us out, man, live over there on Facebook, man. Majid, man, I appreciate you, man, checking us out, man, and rocking with us on the live. So listen, fellas, before we move into the next topic of conversation, let's just touch a little bit on pay equity. And this is something that, Derico wanted to talk about. And I also want to talk about as well. And Banks, I know you probably have a big opinion on this as well. So there has been a big push about pay equity when it comes to the WNBA and the NBA as far as like the salaries are concerned. So let's just go through the numbers here and let's talk about this. So Caitlin Clark, being the number one pick in the WNBA, she will earn $338,000 over 4 years. And that's with the collective bargaining agreement that they have set up with the WNBA. She'll earn a base salary of about $76,000 for her first year. And then it will escalate and it will go up. A lot of people, I guess, are not on board with this and are saying that it's unfair and it's not. We need to do something about it. I guess, obviously, just in comparison, we want to talk about Victor Women Yaba. Oh, I just butchered that name. It was the overall pick for the San Antonio Spurs. Somebody want to correct me?
No, Victor W.
Victor, we call him Victor W. So just to give you a little comparison, he was the number one pick last year in the NBA draft. He secured a $55 million contract as the number one pick, and he pocketed about $12.1 million his first season with the San Antonio Spurs. So obviously we can see that there's a big gap in pay equity between the women and the men when it comes to this sport. And people are mad. People are in their feelings about this, but there are a lot of things that factor into this. I think a lot of people don't understand the fact that the NBA kicks a lot of money over to support the WNBA. Number one, the NBA is probably, not probably, but it's one of the top 5 sports as far as earnings are concerned in the world. And they make a lot of money. So when we start talking about pay when it comes to the NBA and we start talking about the WNBA, it's not even really close. And to say that it's unfair is, to me, kind of it's a mute point. I mean, the men are getting paid a lot of money because the NBA makes a lot of money and they're able to use a lot of the money that they're making to support and hold up the WNBA. They're willing we will see the revenue start to tick up and generate more for the WNBA, but I don't understand how there is an issue with a lot of people with the pay discrepancy here. Derico, I know that you have gotten a lot of talk about this, and I know you want to give your piece on this, man. So I'm gonna let you go ahead the reins on this and talk about the pay equity thing when it comes to the WNBA and the NBA.
So I want to start with one thing first. You know what I'm saying? I think folks do a disservice to an issue when they talk about an issue and they don't have all the facts. Then they start seeing that little graphic that you probably saw between Caitlin and another draft pick in the men's game. It is 2 totally different, astronomical difference in the amount of money that is generated by the NBA and the WNBA. Okay, 13 billion compared to 200 million. 13 billion, that's with a B, and 200 million. Now, y'all do the math real quick and y'all just figure out how big of a discrepancy that is and how they're going to divide that up and give Caitlin Clark $55 million because she's the number one draft pick in the NBA. Second point I want to make, people, listen. Leo said something that y'all probably didn't even think about. It's called a CBA. It's called a collective bargaining agreement. That is the agreement between the players and the teams. That means they agreed to XYZ. So it's not like they did not know how much money they will be getting. So we're going to stop the fake outrage about the discrepancy in pay equity in this particular issue. Now, we can talk about it if you're talking about some stuff in corporate America. That's wholly different. But we're talking about a $13 billion industry versus a $200 million industry, period. So if they want to generate more money, either they're going to have to go out there and get their uncles, brothers, sisters, and cousins to generate marketing, generate buying tickets instead of wanting them for free, buying jerseys, opening up the arenas, all that. So that's what it's going to take. And then when they get up to the next renegotiation of their CBA, they're going to start talking about them TV contracts. I have no idea what they make on TV contracts, but that's another problem. The NBA makes boohoo money off of television revenue. I can almost assuredly say that they're not making nearly the amount of money that the NBA is making, especially if we just said, Leo, that the NBA is floating the WNBA, meaning if the NBA did not grab that tailcoat and grab them and walk them down the aisle, they'll be locked outside in Vegas somewhere looking for what's his name? Elvis on the strip. Because they ain't got no date. They ain't got no husband. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I'm glad you brought that up. Like I said, I guess a lot of people don't really do the research and see how this all works. And like you said, there is a collective bargaining agreement with the WNBA. And like we're at a point now, like I said, we're seeing the game elevated over, with the WNBA, man. Shout out to Coach I who brought up, the problem is the CBA, they need to renegotiate. So I don't know what the term is with their contract was, but obviously when they have to renegotiate the contract with the agreement, they're gonna have to see about getting some more money. And obviously if there's gonna be more revenue generated with the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses, then hey, we need to get some more money for our top picks and players. Banks, I'm kicking it over to you, man. How do you feel about the pay equity and how things are with the WNBA?
I'm trying to follow along with the pay equity. Before, in order for me not to become this racist, not racist, I'm sorry, sexist tyrant.
Oh boy, that's some deep stuff right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Watch
pass
yourself.
on this
Watch
topic.
yourself. Watch yourself.
I'm gonna have to pass on this topic, Leo. I have to keep that one to myself.
Okay. I mean, like I said, man, I'm all for, equity, equity and equality when it comes to women and pay. And like Derico, you hit on a lot when you start talking about corporate America, but it's just a lot. It's a lot to digest and a lot to look at when you start talking about, women's sports, especially women's professional sports. 8 months out of the year, I feel like, what they're getting paid is quite a bit in comparison to like the revenue that's generated with the league.
It's basically 4 months, dog.
Yeah. Well, okay. 4 months. 4 months. What they're generating and what they have going on, man. So listen, before we move to the next topic, I'm going to challenge everybody to go out there, and if you live in a city that has a WNBA team, go support them. Check out a couple of games because it's starting to crank up. We're starting to see stars. We're starting to see the women, crank this thing up. And I think that, with the support, we can start to see, along with, them having a collective bargaining agreement change here. Like I said, I don't know when it'll be up for negotiation, but if we go out and support them, we will see changes in, what they get paid. And, I don't know if we ever get to a point where we see it be, there are some sports where we've talked about more money being needed to go to the women because they are supporting sport. We're just talking about soccer. But when it comes to basketball right now, this is not really a conversation that it's nothing really to talk about. I mean, until we get, more interest in the sport, more support, more revenue, then we can revisit this at a later date. And then hopefully they'll look at their collective bargaining agreement and see if we can get, some more money generated and them getting paid. So I'm gonna support them fellas at all costs and do what I need to do, man, to see what's going on with the WNBA. So listen, fellas, talked about women's basketball, man. Derico, that was something that he definitely wanted to bring up and talk about. We're gonna talk now. We're gonna move on, man, and let's do this thing here, man, and talk about something that's coming up next week here, and that's the NFL draft. Let's talk about the NFL draft, fellas, man, because we have a vested interest in this, man. We have a very, very high pick, and I want to get you guys' thoughts about what we're gonna do or how this is going to change the landscape of our team, the Atlanta Falcons, because like I said, we are fans of Atlanta sports, and Atlanta Falcons is our team, number 8 pick, how we're going to do this. So listen, shout out to my man, Montre. I'll get to your comment here in just a minute, man. Shout out to you supporting our show. Banks, I'm going to bring it over to you, man. NFL draft as we move to another topic here. Number 8 pick, Atlanta Falcons. Dude, it's upon us, man. It's upon us now. I don't think we need to discuss what's been happening with this team and where we need to go, but we need some success. We need a joke. We need a shot. We need to get back into the postseason. So here we are at number 8. What can we do to kind of elevate this team with the number 8 spot? And how do you feel that this is all going to play out? And we'll talk about a bunch of different scenarios here in just a minute, but what do you feel like the Falcons need to do here at number 8, man, when it comes to the draft, brother?
I mean, let me just state the obvious. Pass rush. How long have we been hoping and praying and keeping our fingers crossed and our toes crossed and like, you know what, we picking high. There's a good chance we can fix this defensive line. Derico, Leo, how many times have we thought about this? It's the same answers. It's the same thing. 2024 draft. We can change our defensive line, and we can go out there and get a playmaker or somebody that can make a difference on this defense. Will we do it? Now that's a whole nother topic, another conversation, Leo. We talking about the Falcons here. I mean, no. I was the one that sat there and watched my team draft Bijan Robinson. Not that I'm opposed of it, but I was disappointed at the time. And we drafted him when we had defensive players to draft. Just saying. I know I can sit here till I'm blue in the face and blue in the tongue. We need pass rush.
Hey man, you getting an endorsement?
I don't know what it is. It could be maybe somebody from Skittles can hit me up or something.
Hey, please. Hey, there was a shout out for Skittles. We need some monetary donations over this way to help push our product.
Absolutely, man. We welcome all the support that we can get, man. Shout out to everybody that's watching us on live now. So listen, Banks, I'm with you, brother. We need all the help we can get, especially on the defensive side of the football, man. So I'm there. Clearly, I'm there. And in this draft, I think that, how this plays out, where we are and where we sit, that this needs to go to the defensive side of the ball. I'm with you 100%. But it is chalk to say that we need an edge rusher. It is chalk. Like, yes, if you are lazy and looking at where are our deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball, it is edge. We have not had an edge rusher here in quite some time. I mean, you go back, to say, hey, who is who is the guy here in Atlanta? Man, you talk about John Abraham. That's been almost a decade ago. And then before him, you start talking about Chuck Smith. Then you can go out and start talking about the Claude Humphreys. Like, wow. So yes, we do. And we have drafted guys to be the next great edge rusher here. You know, Vic Beasley, Takk McKinley. We've done that. But, you know, it's all chalk when you start looking at what we need and where we are deficient on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, pass rush is where it's at, right? But here's the thing. Before I kick it over to Derico, man, like, I don't know if this year's draft class is really just we're going to have that dude or that guy come out of this draft to be, you know, the double-digit pass rusher that we've been looking for in Atlanta. I hope that, you know what I'm saying, the names that they've been pushing up is like, okay, hey, yeah, this is who Atlanta needs to take. Like I said, it's all chalking because of the needs that we have. Like, okay, is this really gonna fill the need that we need? Is this really gonna be that guy? This dude, Derico, I'm gonna kick it over to you. Banks are already just alluded to what we need to do at number 8 if that's where it sticks. Pass rush. How do you feel about this pick? What do we need to do to game change this whole thing here on the defensive side of the ball if that's indeed what we're going to do at number 8 here in the draft?
Listen, Leo, listen, Banks. Y'all know how I roll. You ain't showed me nothing different the last 3 drafts. So what make me think that you're going to do something different on the 4th one? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So what I'm going to do is be surprised when they pick whoever they pick. Because, like Banks said, we've been beating this dead horse about a pass rusher forever. And let's go back. The reason why we probably couldn't go out and no, I'm not going to go there about the money situation. So I'm not even going to do that. But anyway, listen, Falcons, listen, Terry Fontenot. If you don't believe that those 3 guys that they've been talking about, the guy from UCLA, the boy from Alabama, and the dude from Florida State, I'm not going to call their names. If you feel like neither 3 of them should be worthy of a top 10 pick, try your best to move or get the best tackle that you can get in the draft.
I mean, listen, Derico, I'm with you. Banks, I'm gonna bring it over to you here in just a second. Derico, I'm with you, dude. Like, you know, if you, as it is, as we sit at number 8, there are a lot of things that are happening in front of us and behind us. We know there are a bunch of teams behind us that are looking for, you know, quarterbacks. You know, Denver's looking for a quarterback. The Raiders are looking for a quarterback. You have to find that trade partner if you want to go back and acquire more picks. My thing is the juice has to be worth the squeeze, right? We have to be able to acquire what we need to in order to make it worth it for us to go back in this draft. And I do, and I'm my personal opinion, yes, we do need edge rush, but let's not just jump on edge rush because that's what we need. I want to entertain all offers for, you know, a trade, you know, for that pick if we can, because there are other things that we are, fellas. I know this is gonna sound crazy to a lot of people, and this is an unpopular opinion. We need another wide receiver, in my opinion, in the room. We need another cornerback in the room. Like you said, Derico, we need another tackle. So there are other things outside of pass rush that we need. So I don't necessarily think that at number 8 we just need to jump at one of these top pass rushers, because, like I said, for me personally, we need we need that guy. We need that guy at pass rush. And if at that number 8 pick is, if we're not certain that this is going to be that guy, that game changer, that Von Miller, that JJ Watt, that Reggie White, that Lawrence Taylor, then I don't think we need to entertain it. I think we need to try to go back, or we need to try to get somebody else at cornerback or at wide receiver or at tackle that's going to actually be that impact player for what we got. Banks, go ahead.
Derico, as you sat there and heard Leo just say, just be prepared. He's just confirmed it. Everybody watching this show, Malik Neighbors going to be number 8 pick for the Atlanta Falcons. So go ahead and just be disappointed right now, because Leo just confirmed it. He said we need another receiver, and I kind of agree we do. But listen, I guess I'm so tired of, I'm over it. we pick so high, you kind of want that difference maker, for a change to be on the defensive side. It seems like we hit it out the park on the offensive side every year. I have no doubt that we have a good offense. I have no doubt. But when you get to that defensive side, you be like, okay.
But Banks. So previous regime, like I said, I just alluded to Banks. Previous regimes have gone early on the defensive side of football. Shout out to my man AJ Terrell. He was a number one. He was a first round pick. And he started talking about Vic Beasley and Takk McKinley. I mean, obviously there were different regimes, but our offensive early picks have probably panned out a little better than our defensive picks. I mean, AJ Terrell is nothing to sneeze at. He's a great cornerback in my opinion, but I don't know. I mean, so I guess let me ask you this. How do you so since it is chalk that we need a pass rusher, how do you feel about the top pass rushers? And do you feel like they're worthy of us taking at the number 8 spot if we stay there?
Yes. They're there for a reason. If they wasn't, then they would be what they wouldn't be pegged to be like in the top between 8 and 12. I'm talking about your Jared Verse and your Latu, whatever his name is, and Dallas Austin. I mean, what's his name? Dallas from Alabama.
Turner.
They Turner, thank you. You wouldn't have all these guys in that mid range if they weren't worth to be drafted there. I mean, if we don't do it, okay, we move on. We get somebody else at 8. We is that defensive tackle that's worth going right there? I haven't heard one. I haven't seen a mock that a defensive tackle to go top 10. Have you?
So
I haven't.
So what you're saying, Banks, is quarterback, receiver, cornerback, maybe. I think those probably the deepest positions in the draft, and then you start getting to some of the offensive line.
Yeah.
They don't talk about linebacker. They don't talk about a running back. They don't talk about a guard. They don't talk about a center. They ain't talking about none of them cats going up the top in the draft. And I think that's where the catch-22 is going to be. The draft just not as good a draft for all around positions.
So let me ask you this question. Do you go BPA?
I mean, that's what they do. That's what they've been doing. They prove.
I think at the end of the day, that's what you have to consider.
Right. That's what they've been doing. So that's the MO.
So if BPA is, I can't believe I'm about to say this, a wide receiver at 8, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go and do a Malik Neighbors at 8.
I mean, let me ask you this, Banks. Let me ask you this: Do we or do we not need another dynamic wide receiver in that room? Yes or no? I mean, disregard your feelings on what we need on the defensive side of the ball. If the juice is not worth the squeeze at defensive end or on that line or for the secondary, and the best player available is a wide receiver, I think, me personally, I think that makes sense. I mean, for real, you got to think about it, man. If you can't trade back at number 8, and like you said, Malik Neighbors is there, or the wide receiver from Washington is there, why not? Why not? What's the problem? If you can't see the value of one of those defenders above those wide receivers coming out, why not? What's the problem with taking them elite? Now, I know it's not a popular thing, but like I said, we do we not need a receiver? Do we not need another receiver in the receiver room?
I just don't want them to reach for nobody for need. And I think that's where we've been getting bit in the ass for so long. Thomas Dimitroff.
You're going to have a big problem if you draft another receiver in top 10.
Where?
For the 4th year in a row. This fan base, period. You have to sit there and think about You have went out and got a top 10 offensive player 4 years in a row and have not even addressed the defense.
But Banks,
You didn't even address the defense in free agency. Like you
but
didn't even look at it.
listen, Banks. I think what we're saying is though, if it's not worth the squeeze, if these defenders, if you stay at 8 and these defenders are not worth, when you look at best player available, like Derico was saying, if you look at Malik Neighbors as opposed to taking Dallas Turner at that number 8 position, and Malik Neighbors is the best player available, and he fits the need. Obviously, like I just said, we need a receiver in that room. Yeah, it's not going to be a popular pick amongst the fan base, but is that a failure at that pick if you take Malik Neighbors? Is that really a failure, Banks? Is that really a failure? Or is it the fact that, okay, yeah, we needed a pass rusher, so we took Dallas Turner?
Or watch this. He ended up in the NFC South on another team because we thought we needed to get one of them dudes that I'm not sold on. I'm really not. I'm not sold on Turner. I'm not sold on Verse. I'm not sold on the guy in UCLA.
From UCLA.
Not sold on.
So
just not sold on.
Let me ask you a question. So if that's the case, what do we do? So we screwed.
Good question. Good question.
We're screwed because
I don't think you're screwed.
Yes, you are, because you basically sold your soul to the devil when you went out there and you not say I disagree with it. You went and got a quarterback, an aging quarterback. You went out there and you gave him all this money and you did not address the defense one time. You did not look. You didn't get a defensive tackle. You got a defensive tackle that's coming off an injury, and he's your best one. He's your best one.
So listen, Banks. I mean, yes, we do need to address things on the defense, but at the same time, I mean, at what cost? Are we just addressing something because it's chalk and that's what is needed, or is this going to be something? Derico, I'm with you, and I smell what you're cooking about something that's going to be long term and is going to be the best fit for this team. Because if Dallas Turner or Jared Verse or Latu from UCLA are not deemed to be the guys that are going to be the man coming off the edge, in my opinion, at 8, it's not worth it. If you feel like Malik Neighbors is going to be your number 2 receiver that's going to complement Drake London, by all means, do it. And I get what you're saying, Banks. I mean, you got to think about it, man. From a defensive perspective, man, we just going to say, okay, we got somebody. But yeah, we missed out on free agency and weren't able to sign anybody. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get Dallas Turner because we need somebody on the defensive side of the ball. He ends up being a damn Tack McKinley. Then what?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Or you could just go into the season with nothing.
What you mean?
You go into the season. You didn't resign Calais Campbell, who was your sack leader. You didn't sign Bud Freeback. He's one of your sack leaders. So you're basically going into there with just who you coming back with?
I mean, you still got an Arnold Ebiketie. You still, Derico, I'm going to kick it over to you here. You still got an Arnold Ebiketie. You still got a Zach Harrison. You still have Alonzo Carter. You still have guys. You still have a Grady Jarrett. You still have a David Omayata. Well, I mean, hey, listen, he's coming back. And I feel like this is, I'm not going to sit. I'm not going to sit up. What Grady Jarrett has done for this organization, I'm not going to sit up here and poo-poo him coming back. Yeah, he's injured, but I think he's going to come back, and I think he'll still be able to produce. I mean, I think what we're looking at here is, the fact that let's not jump to conclusions on getting somebody just because we need somebody. We've seen this before. We've seen this episode before Vic Beasley. We've seen this episode before Tack McKinley. And me personally, before we move forward, I don't think any of these edge rushers that are deemed, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, are worthy of the number 8 pick. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think that we need to waste. This is my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion, Banks. If at number 8, we're sitting there and you got a Jared Verse or you got a Dallas Turner, I don't think that getting them at 8 is going to solve our pass rush issues. I don't think Dallas Turner is the next Michael Parsons. I don't think Jared Verse is the next, Von Miller. I just don't. I think edge rusher is weak. I think that the easy thing for people to say is that's what we need and that's what we should go after at 8. But I just don't see. I don't see the value of any of those guys at that pick. Derico, I know you want to say something. Banks, we're gonna bring it back over to you.
No, I'm done. I think Banks had 1 point right there.
I just wanted to say was that you are okay with this not addressing the defense in the draft. I mean, the defensive line. Let me just say it that way. You okay if we didn't draft a defensive lineman at all in this draft and we just truck out whoever we got on the roster?
How many rounds we got in the draft?
That's what I was about to say.
No. I'm saying is if we don't draft at a defensive lineman at all, you okay with that?
No, I don't think nobody said that.
No, I don't think we are not okay with that. I think we got multiple rounds in this draft.
Right.
But I think what we're saying is it's okay if we don't pick a defensive lineman in the first round.
At number 8.
At number 8. I don't think it's a big deal. I would not be disappointed.
No. This probably be the first year. This will probably be the first year that I want to sit like Banks and throw the computer out the window if they pick a wide receiver at number 8 this year. I would not be upset. I absolutely wouldn't. I just wouldn't.
I'm okay at a cornerback at number 8. I'm okay at a wide receiver at number 8. Derico, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I agree with you. I'm in agreement with a tackle at number 8. I mean, let's just not. All I'm saying is, Banks, yes, if the pick is edge rusher at number 8, okay, fine. But let's not get so caught up on that's what we need, because yes, we have not had that guy at the edge for a long time. But we need to look long term at this, and we need to make sure that number 8 pick, if we are to stay at number 8, is going to be a value pick and is going to have a high impact on. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Me personally, I feel as though if we get Malik Neighbors, he's gonna have a high impact and a high ceiling on this offense. On the other side of Drake London, don't get me wrong. But if there's any intrepidation about picking a Jared Verse or picking Dallas Turner at number 8, then I say, hey, scrap it, get a receiver, get a cornerback, get a tackle, and let's move on. We got a lot of other rounds that we could look at edge rushers and defensive tackles in this draft. That's all I'm saying.
So, you're okay with a pass rusher in the 5th round, but not in the 1st round?
Like I said, Grady Jarrett came out of the 5th round. Like I said, my opinion, and we'll kind of move forward here, is that I think that the number 8 pick needs to be the equity that you put in number 8 pick needs to be somebody that's going to be here and be somebody that's going to produce long term. Me personally, my opinion, the 3 guys that are at the top of the list, to take them at number 8, I don't feel that strongly that they're going to do. I could be wrong, Banks. I don't see a Michael Parsons, JJ Watt, or Von Miller out of these 3 guys. I don't. If they take one, obviously, yes, I'm all for it. I don't see it in this draft. I just don't personally see it. But if they do, then it is what it is. Derico?
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think we've been so conditioned to think a certain way about the draft. And we're trying to say things. There's more draft picks available. Not saying it has to be in the 5th round. You still got a 2nd, you got 2/3, I think, and a 4th. So you can maneuver something if you want to come back up in the 1st round. If you see somebody at the bottom that might be falling. I mean, there's a plethora of things that can happen. I just don't want us to get a box mentality about how it should flow, where it should flow. Because all we're going to do is continue to be frustrated about it. And right now, I don't want to wake up Thursday morning angst about something that I have no control over.
I mean, yeah, we'll see how this thing pans out. So listen, guys, as we wrap this up, like I said, Banks, I know you feel very, very strongly about this here, man, but let's get your thoughts on the biggest shakeup that you feel like is going to come next Thursday night. I mean, do you feel like the Falcons are going to be able to trade back? What do you see the biggest shakeup, in your opinion, is going to happen in the 1st round of this draft next Thursday night before we close this thing out?
Well, judging about what they did in the past, I will say that it will be a pick that no one saw coming, or it'll be a pick that we heard about it, but we didn't put no we didn't pay no attention to it. That's why I said Malik Neighbors. I said Malik Neighbors will be right there between 8 and 10 or 8 and 11, provided if they don't trade down. But like you said before, you need somebody to play with you. You got to have somebody that wants to trade up to that spot. So I think for me, fellas, I want them to get the best defensive player. If that's a corner, so be it. But get the best defensive player. But I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to get the best player available overall, and it's going to probably be a receiver. And it's going to be whatever.
I don't see that necessarily being a bad thing. I mean, best player available, in my opinion, like you said, last year we picked the best player available, and that was Bijan Robinson. Did we necessarily need another running back? No, but Bijan Robinson has proven in 1 year, his rookie year, that he has been a game changer running back, and I think that his ceiling is going to go up. And I think that by having him on our offense is going to make us very, very dynamic for years to come. So I don't necessarily think that best player available is something bad to look at or sneeze at, even if it's on the offensive side of the ball. I like what Malik Neighbors brings. I like what the wide receiver from Washington brings. I can't think of his name right now, but if he's on the table and that's something that they want to look at, then so be it. My biggest shakeup in this draft is somebody actually trading with us to get into the top 10 in order to try to see getting one of these quarterbacks. I think there will be a run on quarterbacks, and I think that there are a couple of teams that are panicking right now about the quarterback position, i.e. Minnesota, i.e. The Broncos and the Raiders. So I think that those three teams right there, there is some value. Obviously, with the Raiders and the Broncos, not so much, because I don't think they have second round picks. So I don't know how that would be an asset to us if we did trade back with them. Like, what package would they be able to give us this year? Because we need a lot of equity this year. So
they punting next year, Doc.
Yeah, I just don't see, like, if they want to get back into the game with us, they would have to give us a king's ransom, because they just with the number of picks they have this year, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze for us going back with them. But I do think that they're going to try to play the game of trying to get into this market of getting a quarterback, because Minnesota, Denver, and the Raiders do not have a real valid quarterback situation. I mean, they got guys on their roster right now, but I think they're all looking to see if they can get in there and get somebody else. I mean, we did sign Kirk Cousins. I do think that we are looking at somebody else in the quarterback room, not at 8, obviously, but I think that, we've done our due diligence with Penix and Spencer Rattler. So we'll let the chips fall where they may and see if we could pick up somebody else to bring into that quarterback room to be the future of the franchise, in this draft. So my biggest thing is, I think that there is somebody that's going to play with us to move to our spot at number 8 and give us some equity to do more, and then we'll see how that happens. So I think that's the biggest thing, is somebody is going to play hard and say, hey, we'll give you what you want, because we need to get into 8 and get what we need. So I'm for the first time in a long time, I think the Falcons will be able to go back and gain some more draft equity. That's my surprise for the draft on next Thursday. Derico, what's your take, man, before we close this thing out for the draft on next Thursday?
That's the whole you got the Jets, you got Minnesota, you got Denver, and possibly Vegas, all sitting right there back to back to back to back to back. So somebody, if they want JJ McCartney, which, please jump up there and get him. I beg you to jump up there and get him. Please, please, please jump up there and get him. So if that happens, then like you said, even if Denver wanted to dance with us, I don't have a problem deferring draft picks to next year, because this draft is not going to be as strong as we need it to be on the defense side of the ball right now. So I would not have a problem with us drafting back and giving up something next year with Denver. We still going to swap with them, which is going to be 4 spots down in the first round. You're still going to get a player, an impact player. Yeah. So I would not say just because Denver doesn't have a second round pick that they not going to go for the gusto. I mean, you talking about Sean Payton, Mr. Arrogant, Mr. Asshole, Mr. I got to prove to everybody something. He's going to try to do something to make everybody talk about Denver after this draft.
Yeah. I agree, man. I mean, I'm with you, dog. We'll see how this going to all pan out on next Thursday night. Obviously, hopefully, we'll be able to come back and do a show and talk about everything. Well, obviously, we will do another show. We'll just see how it all pans out if we do a post draft show to see how all these things shake out. Shout out to my man, Coach I over at Fanatic Sports Network. The Falcons' problem always draft best available instead of what they need. Sometimes it works, lots of times not. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out. Next Thursday night with the draft, man. So listen, guys, we've come to the end of this show. It's been new. We've been live. We had a lot of interaction, man. I appreciate everybody that has come on and given us some feedback and jumped in and interacted with us with the show. And we've been able to address a lot, man. So listen, this is more to come, fellas. We've been doing this for quite some time, man, and I'm happy to say that we're going to continue to do this for quite some time, moving on into the future, man, and continue to grow this show and do what we do, man. So before we close this thing out, as always, now we actually have a generated ticker to show everybody social media if they want to get, to follow us on social media and to get at us with that. But hey, I'm gonna get a floor to everybody to give what they give, man. Banks, I'm gonna give it over to you here first. Let everybody know where they can find you, man, and how they can get up with you, brother.
Well, currently, you can only find me right now at Antoine Terrell Banks on Facebook. That's right, ATL ho. And I'm having problems with the X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm working on it as we speak. If you are on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe, you guys. I talked to a lot of you guys that passed by. And, you guys hit me up while I'm at work saying that you've seen our show. I appreciate you, but you got to subscribe too as well. So I am going to be better than ever in a couple of weeks with my social media handle. So just bear with me.
Derico, let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. You are absolutely correct, sir. I have enjoyed using this platform, so hopefully that'll be better things to come. They can catch me on Facebook at Stacy D Derico. You can catch me on IG at Derico_Virgo, and you see my Twitter handle down there, and my Snap. I always forget my Snap. I think it's Derico DJ
K-Roll.
DJ K-Roll 6 on the Snap. And otherwise, you can find me right here at the bar looking at Michael Vick, not looking at the alcohol because I don't drink.
Oh, no, he in the alcohol. Make no mistake about it. He in the alcohol. Listen, hey, fellas, it's been a wonderful show, man. Coach, I appreciate it, man, over at Fanatic Sports Network, man. If you want to catch up with him, it's Fanatic Sports Network, man. Hopefully we'll bring Coach I over to talk about some collegiate sports here with UGA here in just a moment, man. But we definitely appreciate the support, brother. And yes, StreamYard has made this very, very seamless, and we've been able to. So I hope we did you proud with getting this show off, man, and making it cool, man, and just having fun. So listen, everybody that support, I thank you. We're going to continue to do this, man, and do this from a perspective that we know how to do as fans of Atlanta sports and continue to grow this thing. I ain't got to tell you where you can find us. You can see it right now. If you're watching it, you can see us. How to catch up with me, how to catch up with Derico, how to catch up with the show on the X. Banks already told you where you can find him. So yeah, we're gonna continue to do this, Twitter. Man. On the Twitter, okay, on the Twitter. And like I said, X, Twitter, whatever. We're gonna continue to do this thing, man. As long
That's why
as
it ain't working, because you're calling it X.
Because we love doing it. This has been another edition of the Leo G, Derico, and Banks show. As we continue to do this thing, it's ATL ho. We about to be out. All right.